Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Normal here and you're watching the detailed camera review of the new smartphone from Realme, the Realme 7 launched recently. The new Realme 7 comes with a quad camera setup with a 64 megapixel primary sensor and there is also a 16 megapixel selfie camera. So let's dive deep into the camera to see how it performs for the price segment. So if this is your first time on this channel, do hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. Now coming back to the review, let's first have a look at the hardware offer. In terms of the camera hardware, the Realme 7 packs a quad rear camera with 64 megapixel primary sensor with f1.8 aperture and Sony IMX682 sensor. You also get an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, a macro sensor and a depth sensor. There is also LED flash included. There is also stabilization offered for the primary camera. The front camera is a 16 megapixel selfie camera with f2.1 aperture and Sony IMX471 sensor. So let's find out how the camera performs. First, let's have a look at the video quality. The phone can shoot 4K videos in 30 fps and the quality looks quite good. While the colors are good, there is no stabilization being offered. There is also no 4K at 60 fps offered, which is probably a sensor limitation. The 1080p videos at 30 fps was decent, but once again we feel the overall quality was strictly average. The sharpness levels and details were quite low. The 1080p at 60 fps does not have stabilization either. The phone also offers ultra steady mode and once again we felt that the quality was strictly average and it was a bit too soft in nature. The ultra wide angle recording was also kind of disappointing with lack of details. The phone can also record slow motion videos in 240 fps and 480 fps. Now moving on to the photos, the daylight shots taken with the 64 megapixel camera came out quite decent. While the colors are definitely better than the Realme's previous attempts, the disappointing aspect is that in spite of having a Sony IMX682 sensor, the overall processing is strictly average. When you zoom into the pictures, you can clearly see that details are in green. The sharpness levels are also quite average. The dynamic range is kind of okay. There is also a dedicated 64 megapixel mode which takes images in higher resolution, but we did not see any major difference here. Overall, the photos came out average and Realme could have definitely done a better job here. The 8 megapixel ultra wide angle shots came out pretty decent. While the colors are once again decent, the images were soft and lacking details. They are still usable unless you pick selfie where you can clearly see the amount of noise. The close-up shots taken with the camera was good and it has good details and decent sharpness levels too. The colors are also quite decent here. The focusing speed was also quite good and we did not have any sort of issues here. The phone has a 2 megapixel macro sensor and this is once again disappointing aspect as the colors are not great and even overall clarity was strictly average. Now moving on to the portrait shots. We felt that the portraits are really good. The skin tones are also quite good and the sharpness levels are impressive. The edge detection is once again accurate. This is one of the good aspects about the phone. Now moving on to the low light captures. With f1.8 aperture, the phone can take some decent images in low light conditions with artificial indoor lights. The colors are good and there is decent sharpness levels as well, but there is noise which is quite evident. But when lights drops further and in extreme low light conditions, you can clearly see noise and the images are too grainy. There is night mode on offer. Turning on makes the images a bit more detailed, but it makes the images saturated as well and we didn't like the overall low light experience. We feel this has to be improved for a phone in this price segment. There is a starry night mode which takes around 4 minutes to capture the image and needs tripod, but the results are quite good. Now moving on to the selfie camera. The 16 megapixel shooter can shoot some decent selfies with good details and sharpness levels. The dynamic range is also good. But the facial tones aren't really accurate and it has a tendency to whiten the face. We turned off the beauty mode since we liked selfies without beauty. Since selfies are more of a personal choice, you can judge based on the clarity. The phone also comes with portrait mode. Here again the edge detection was average with few misses in terms of edges. Overall, the selfie experience on the Realme 7 is kind of average. So this is the front facing camera sample taken with the Realme 7. So you can see how good the clarity of the video is, and also the audio output from the front camera on the Realme 7. This is recorded in 1080p resolution. So summing up, how good is the Realme 7 performance in terms of the camera? While the camera hardware on the Realme 7 is good, the overall quality offered would be kind of disappointing for a phone which is priced around 15,000 in India. The phone requires a complete update of the camera software to make it better. With so many good devices from Xiaomi, Poco and Samsung in the sub 20k price segment with good camera being offered, it is high time Realme stepped up their ante and made the cameras better. So what do you guys think about the camera on the Realme 7? Do share in your thoughts in the comment section. This is Thermal signing off with a camera review of the Realme 7. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.